Hi everyone. So let me start off by asking you a question. Did you know that after the age of 40, your body produces 50% less nitric oxide than it did at the age of 20? Well, it does. But what does that mean? That's why we are here tonight, to explain this to you and why this is important to your health. So thank you all so much for joining us this evening. I am Rachel Clark, and I am here with Dr. Jason Whitaker. And so let me ask you, will you explain first to everyone, what is nitric oxide?
Okay, well, first of all, hello. We're going to be talking about, a new product that has been released, but first of all, we need to talk about what actually is nitric oxide and how it's released into your body. There's a normal way that the body starts pumping blood through your arteries, and nitric oxide actually is a system that's already set up that helps vasodilate the arteries and allows that blood to flow at the speed that it needs to flow. So what's happening as we age, the arteries start to get clogged up with, plaque and it starts to degenerate, and some of the poor food choices and free radicals and some of the stuff that we said, lack of exercise, starts to getting the health of the arteries, to a degenerative state, and the nitric oxide starts producing less and less, so that blood goes through the arteries at a slower speed, and there's been a detrimental effect on our health. And the reason why we're here is just kind of talk with you a little bit, is that they cracked the code and they figured out how to turn that natural process back on. And I promise you that this is just not a talk just to give you another product and another idea. No, this is like, we were in Salt Lake City and we met with the doctors and the researchers, and we saw this product in action. We saw how this is working for a 3-year-old. If this is safe for a 3-year-old and for your 90-year-old grandma to Olympic athletes. So we're really excited about sharing some of the nitty-gritty details of what is actually happening inside your body that you might not even realize what's happening inside your body. So we're going to go over some broad concepts of how nitric oxide reduction really has some detrimental effects on your body, and how we're going to help you guys increase that, and you're going to see, you'll see the effects of it really soon, more ways than one.
And the thing is, this is really important information that people need to know, and the more that I have learned about it, it's absolutely amazing. And as far as I'm concerned, like, everybody needs to know more about this product and its benefits. So we'd appreciate it if you would, as you're watching this, whether you're live, if you're watching on the replay, share it, because we want to get this message out to people.
Yeah, so one way we started explaining this a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, and some light bulbs started going off. So I want to explain a couple of broad concepts on just how the body actually works, so that, and you might think, oh, you're going into too much detail, but this is all going to explain how this new product called Prime is actually going to be working in your system. And the way I started out with the other week was, what organ in your body controls every function. And after I started getting a couple blank looks, we started realizing that I brought this diagram here, and what the answer was the brain. And you might not be able to see that all that well, but this is the brain controls every function in the body, and that sends electrical impulse down the spinal cord, and then out each of these levels, there's 24 different levels, a nerve exits that spinal cord, and it goes to all your different organs in your body. And so what happens is, I started explaining to people, now if at this level, like a L1 at the beginning of your lumbar spine, this nerve goes to your kidneys. And I asked them, if that electrical supply of that nerve gets pinched, and say 50% of that electrical supply is now going to that kidney, what does that kidney have to do? I mean,
it's going to have to work harder.
It's going to have to, it's going to have to work twice as hard. So 50% of the supply of that nerve is going to that kidney is going to have to work twice as hard to do the exact same function. So what is that going to do? That means that kidney is going to wear out faster. It's going to be in a state of dis-ease, which means that it's going to not only wear out faster, but it's going to start showing symptoms. So that's the whole kind of the basis of what we do as chiropractors. We try to take the interference out of the nervous system, and that's what we do. What does that matter? Well, we concentrate. We're brainwashed and think the nervous system, brain, spinal cord, and the nerves controls every function. But the other side of the factor, as in the medical society, is all through the blood. It's so through the circulation of the blood. And Rachel already mentioned that by age 40. The nitric oxide production within the body is at 50%. So that means that if the blood is, let's just say in the perfect world, these are broad concepts, okay, all right? So let's say that at 100% function of the blood moving through the arteries is at 100 miles an hour, okay? Let's just say that. So I'm 42, so I won't ask what your age is. But,
I'm 45.
45,
okay, I'm a little bit older.
So obviously, her blood's moving slower than mine.
Thank you.
You might need 2. Dr. Plant said you could have up to 3. I wouldn't recommend that yet, but and 2 for sure. He's a little bit older. But anyway, but the whole factor of the matter is if that blood is starting to slow down through your system, you want to start to figure out how to get that going through your system. And again, so if 50% of the blood is going to your kidney now, we're talking about through your artery, what does that kidney have to do? It has to work harder. So if there was a way to ingest something and turn on that natural nitric oxide process where you could speed up that 50 miles an hour back to 100 miles an hour, what is that kidney going to do? It's going to function at a higher level. And that's why I'm excited about this concept of what this product is called Prime. And you might ask yourself, what is Prime? Well, what's in it? Basically, it's an amino acid. There's a lot of different things in it, but it's amino acid. There's a lot of it's L-arginine, and this one's L-citrulline, which are amino acids. It's a protein. Some beetroot extracts, which there's different ways to increase nitric oxide in your body. There's different ways. So one of them is to ingest it through the amino acids and beet extracts, but also food, but also exercise increases your nitric oxide. You've ever heard of people getting a runner's high, or they're really getting into it. So there's different ways to increasing that, but for the most part, since people are so sedentary and everything, they found a way to get this into your system. And this is just a powder. You just click this open and you pour the powder in your mouth, and it dissolves in your mouth, and you swish it around. You do it first thing in the morning, and it's instant access. Because one of the key discoveries is to make this in its active form. It's the technology was in the delivery of this product that gets inside your body. Because a lot of people, for example, take folate, which is also in this, but they take it and their body can't make it into the active form. So folate's really good for your brain and everything else, but it can't make it into its active form. What they cracked the code is that they found a way to get folate and this delivery system of this into your system in its active form before you start ingesting it inside your body. And I promise you, when you do that, it starts working, and not only starts getting releasing the nitric oxide, because this is not nitric oxide. This is not oxide. It's a nitric oxide activator. Okay, so it has to activate inside your body, and then it'll increase your blood flow. So, and that's, I got a couple other things, but well, you have something. I feel like you have something to say.
No, I mean,
or you're staring a hole in the back of my head because you have 45 years of practice. So
thanks. But no, all this is just, and honestly, when I was excited when I first heard about this product, but I didn't think that it would be one that I would necessarily use. but I wanted to try it before I started recommending it to other people. And just the first day that I tried it, and I took it that morning, and if you have followed us at all, if you followed my page for any amount of time, you know that the Moringa oleifera that I've been taking for 2.5 years has completely changed my life. So I feel, so much better than what I used to. I didn't think that this is going to be something that I would really feel a difference, that I didn't know how it would really benefit me. I took it one morning before I even had my Moringa drink, and noticed I felt better. It was kind of hard to explain, but I could just feel a difference before I even had my drink, and then by drinking that, it's like it helped activate it and made it even stronger, I guess you could say.
Right, and it's a great point. A lot of people, we take the prime first, and it primes the system. It gets everything moving, and we know that the blood takes the nutrients and the oxygen and everything that's important to the muscles, to the tissues, to the organs. That's just how that works, and that's why a lot of people that are in bodybuilding or they're athletes or whatever, they really like, it's really big. Nitric oxide supplements are huge in the athletic world because it gives them vasodilate, it gives them the pump, it gives them that flow, for their workout. That's why there's already people, this is just coming out to the public now, in our arena, but this has already been used by Olympic athletes, and they're already swearing by it. We've already had people that have high blood pressure, and if you get the blood flowing faster through the arteries, guess what happens to the blood pressure? It starts to decrease, and it doesn't have to, the heart doesn't have to work as hard, so then therefore the blood pressure starts decreasing, because the heart doesn't have, and that's a byproduct of that as well. But here's another thing. I always said that if you could purify the blood, we're trying to remove the interference as a chiropractor out of the nervous system, but if you purify the blood, which we're really having a good chance of doing that through the Moringa oleifera, through the super mix, through whatever product that you're using of the Moringa, is starting to purify the blood. But what happens is now what she's experiencing, and what a lot of us are experiencing, that was actually going through our system, going through our blood supply. But if the blood's still only moving at a 45-year-old pace,
like how you throw that in there?
slower, say 50 miles an hour, maybe 45,
Okay.
Pace, then the nutrients is in the blood supply, but it's not getting to the organ fast enough. So it's only getting half of the nutrients at half the speed. So if you can now increase that with the nutrients in there, then can you imagine the optimal health that you can start having? So now you're getting a boost of that, and you felt that, but now this is kind of like the delivery system to the muscles, to the tissues, to the organs. And that's where the powerful combination comes into play. Having people that have cold hands, or cold feet, because once the arteries start breaking down, it breaks down into little branches of capillaries, and that's where a lot of it gets really broke down. But what if you can get that blood flow to those areas and get it there faster? Then that's where you start seeing other results, in your health.
Well, and I like that little thing that you did.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's my magical health spirit fingers.
Well, I will say that one of the things that I noticed since I've been taking it too is, now before Dr. Bobby ever introduced me to the Moringa products, I had really bad swelling and inflammation in my feet and ankles. Well, one of the benefits of Moringa is that it has 36 anti-inflammatories in it. Well, I noticed a huge difference in my ankles and the swelling, and I was beyond excited about that. Well, I still had kind of more in one ankle than the other, but I still had a little bit of swelling that I would get from time to time, nothing like it used to be, but I have noticed that since I started taking the Prime, that inflammation now is now gone. which now I know is because of the circulation that was an issue. And so it was to the point where I came out one morning after I was out of the shower and stuff, and I found my husband and I was like, look at my ankles. I'm like, they were like actually normal size, no swelling, no inflammation. So I'm just floored by. So
yeah, I was just looking at is Maryland. I'm having a hard time. You know, you probably can see the glow.
Our eyesight.
Yeah, the glow of my skin from the 2-minute Miracle Gel. That's another.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The other great product.
But I was looking at it and said you need the natural form, and this one, the folate, and that's probably the active form because it's actually in this prime. I'm not sure if you're taking it or not, but it's methyl tetrahydrofolate, which is the active. That was the breakthrough. That's what, when you take folate, it activates to that. You know, so that the body could actually use it. So it's actually in that form for you. So yeah. So that's the whole thing. And it was kind of interesting as I was reading about this and started looking about like how this has actually come to pass. I remember when I was younger, my grandma would have these spells, and they were like, okay, you know, she would have a spell. I didn't know what that meant, but I guess her blood pressure went up, and she would take her nitroglycerin pills, and they take it, and then the blood pressure would go down. That's what was happening in the body, because when inside the blood vessel, when it breaks down, when it starts kind of crushing kind of like a hose. It starts really crushing, and there's plaque, and then it goes slower, and the slower it goes, it just keeps on crushing down. And then when they took that nitroglycerin, it basically vasodilated that, and then because of that, took the pressure off the heart, so the blood pressure will go down. What I didn't know, because I had people, Dr. Jason, I got to be careful what I put in my body. It's like, you know, I'm talking about Morangan Prime, you know, to them, and they're like, I got to be careful. I was like, really? You know, because you're on nitroglycerin, you're on 13 other medications, you got to be careful about what you put in your body. I agree, but this is the most nutritious plant in the world, and something that naturally happens inside your body, and we were going to be able to enhance it. You know, I was like, you know, we have a little bit of a discrepancy. I was like, well, you know where nitroglycerin comes from, right? It's out of dynamite. So, people, it's just like, okay, we got some natural processes. And it was actually the Nobel Prize winner who actually took the Nobel Prize. And in 1998, that was 100 years ago, but in 1998, he took 100 years ago, he took the nitroglycerin, and it actually helped his heart. So that's what started with that line in the medical field. But in 1998, that's when they found out that this nitric oxide, this nitric oxide delivery system that was actually happening, won a Nobel Prize. Okay, there's 3 scientists that actually, the delivery system of what this is doing, this delivery system of the nitric oxide won a Nobel Prize, and that's why this is so important, that you could activate this natural nitric oxide system with this product and with these activators, and really start speeding up your blood. You might get up to, you know, I can't drive 55. I don't know. I mean, miles an hour. But that's why this is so important, because you want this blood to get to the muscles. You want this blood to get to your tissues. You want these blood. It's very important. I mean, my dad's watching right now. He had, you know, through medication, through other different things, his kidneys started failing to a point that he was on dialysis. You know, how important is it, you know, to get that blood to that kidney? If we could have got that blood there faster, would that improve that kidney function? Yeah, of course it would have. You know, they've done tests with other machines that have done this. It's called the Beamer machine. You could look up different things, but they've done tests with kidney patients that had 20% function, and then they sped up the blood supply through other methods, but they sped up the blood supply. In 6 weeks, those kidneys were functioning over 50%. So it's very important. As a chiropractor, I'm brainwashed and saying brain, nerves, and everything, the nervous system, clear out the nervous system, but I got to respect the circulatory system, and if we can speed up the circulatory system with the most nutrient plant in the world, we're going to achieve optimal health at a greater pace.
Well, one thing I've noticed too is I feel like when I first started taking the moringa, I got rid of that brain fog. But even now with taking the Prime, it's made such a difference. It's like cleared things up. I don't know the best way to explain it, but I just feel like everything is moving so much better.
Well, I mean, I think the brain gets the blood flow. So, I mean, if this could cross the blood-brain barrier, what is that going to do? They talked about broken brain. They talked about ADD, ADHD. They talked about focus disorders, just the whole 9 yards, you know, and why that's happening. Well, I mean, and they also talked about strokes. Well, what happens is a stroke, you know, the blood, it's compressing so much that people stroke out, but that actually happens at a lesser level if it's constricting that much and the oxygen's not getting there. Brain fog, and not being able to concentrate and getting tossed here and fro. That's another effect. This stuff can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is very, very important. Yeah. And
it's something that, like I said, I didn't expect even after the first one to notice a difference.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, it's activating instantly. So that's just where. It's fast. I
guess I'm just still amazed by this because, like I said, I felt so much better than I have in years past, and then adding this into it is just mind-blowing to me.
Well, I mean, we're used to some of the other supplements that we have through Zija that really gets you revved up, and some people, it's a little bit too much for them, okay? Well, this is this doesn't get you jittery, it doesn't get you all fired up like that, but you can literally feel, you can like feel that the blood, it's flowing, it's flowing better, it's more of a natural thing because you're not trying to manipulate it through niacin or something, another thing that's just vasodilating. You're actually using a system that the body already has. It's just been at a suppressed level because of degeneration of just the way the body degenerates over time with aging. But this is helping, turn that system back on.
So. Well, I know we've thrown a lot of information out there, and so as you're watching this, like I said, we'd really appreciate it if, when you're watching this, if you're watching it now, later on, hit the share button, share it with others, because this is a product that it's just another product that can help change people's lives. Yeah. And so we want to get the message out there, and we are here to answer your questions, to help you, because I'm telling you, at 45 years old, I honestly did not think it was possible to feel even better, and I feel better now than I did probably even when I was in my 20s.
Yep.
And so, but is there anything else you can think of that they need to know now?
No, I mean, there's other specific details, and if you want to know more specific details, ingredients and different things of that nature, then, inbox us, get a hold of us some way. We'll be happy to answer any of those, but this is a game-changing product. We got a delivery system to the most nutrient-dense plant in the world, and this is going to help change a lot of lives in more than one way. So we're excited about it.
Yeah.
It's already working, and we can't wait to see how this is going to start affecting the families across, this community and region.
Yeah, it really is about changing people's lives, and that's what we're all about, and that's why we're really pushing the natural health revolution, because being able to use these products and all natural and changing people's lives the way they feel, and there's no better feeling than to be able to do that. So thank you for taking the time out to watch this. Again, please reach out to us with questions. If you have our numbers, feel free to text us, send a personal message. We will get back with you and help you and answer your questions. So thank you again so much for joining us, and we will be talking to you soon, and we hope you all have a great night.
All right. Good night.